My name is Christopher Lyons, and this is my short assignment 4. Women in the workplace is a topic that is often discussed and debated throughout our society today. Often these conversations revolve around the idea of, do women have an advantage in today's business world? There are many supporters for both sides of this argument. In this essay, I will argue that being a woman does not give you an advantage in business. The main supporting argument that I'll explore throughout this essay is in regards to positions that women hold in the business world and the salaries that women are given while fulfilling these positions. Specifically, I will compare women to men in the business world when exploring this main supporting argument. Often, women and men typically hold the same or nearly the same positions in many jobs. However, it often takes women a longer time to achieve or be promoted to the same position as it may take for a man to be promoted to the same position. A large part of the business world where this often occurs is throughout upper-level management positions of companies. For example, even if a man and a woman began a certain company at roughly the same time, typically the man will be promoted quicker than the woman through the ranks up to a management position. This is often seen specifically having to do with large corporation CEOs. It is interesting to see that not too long ago, a very large portion of CEOs were almost entirely composed of men. However, in recent years, women have gradually been moving up to more and more management and CEO positions at large corporations. This shows that over time, women are becoming more equally competitive and are progressing to a more equal competitive advantage in the business world as men are and have been. A real-life example of this involves work positions within the government and politics. With regards to the government and politics, it is interesting to note that there has never been a woman president of the United States to this day. There are many different thoughts and opinions regarding why this may be. However, in the soon-to-be election, there are women running to be elected as President of the United States. There are also many beliefs and opinions that these women have a very strong chance of winning, following along with the change of the status of women in the workplace today. If this were to happen, it would be a true milestone and an increase of women gaining power and advantage in both the business world and society as a whole. Following along with the main supporting argument presented in this essay, it is often interesting to analyze and think about how much a woman is paid compared to how much a man is paid for performing the same duties within the same job title. Even when both a man and a woman have the same qualifications and experience, it is widely known that women still statistically do not earn the same amount per hour than men do for performing the same job. Even though these women and men may be equally qualified for the position and have the same amount of schooling and experience. In fact, it was published in the Huffington Post that in 2012, women still earned only 77 cents for every dollar that men earned in 2012. I gathered this information from the Huffington Post. Now, when compared to previous years, it is clear that the gap between what men are paid in comparison to what women are paid is becoming smaller. However, these improvements are being performed slowly but steadily over time. Although there are many strong arguments presented in regards to the main argument presented in this essay, there are some very clear counterarguments that are often presented. One counterargument that is often presented is that nowadays women are the majority of people who are attending and graduating from college. It is also often argued that women excel in some very valuable areas as compared to how men typically perform in these same areas. It is interesting to analyze how many more women are typically going to and graduating from college in comparison to how many men are going to and graduating from college. For this reason, many people believe in the argument that in the near future, women will end up being more highly qualified and prepared for jobs than men will be. These same people also argue that in the near future, Many different divisions of the workplace will be filled more with women than they will be with men. It is also argued that in the near future, women will start to fill jobs that would have typically been filled by men. This is a very interesting idea to think about and explore as we progress into the future. It is interesting to explore the idea that women potentially possess some valuable skills and excel in certain areas that men do not have or do not excel. One potential area in regards to this that is often argued in the real world is that women are more caring and better listeners in the workplace. It is also argued that women are more sympathetic in the workplace. Many believe that this means women are better candidates to fulfill certain positions than men. It is also argued that women are better at multitasking than men are. The idea of this goes back to the activities that women typically perform when they are younger. For example, it is often argued that women become much better multitaskers when they are in school. It is believed that when women have to manage multiple different assignments and activities while they're in school, this is preparing them for the business world. We have discussed this in depth throughout our business ethics course this semester. These are just a few of the many counterarguments that are often presented in regards to the main argument that is presented throughout this essay. Although supporters of the idea that women have an advantage in the workplace present several strong arguments to the main supporting argument that is presented in this essay, there are some strong rebuttal statements that are often presented in regards to their arguments. One rebuttal argument that is often presented is that men are also in college and often pursue high degrees. At the same time, it is also pointed out that men often receive much on-the-job training. Also, it is often pointed out that men often receive training and business practices that are passed down through their family. It is argued that men perform many of their business actions and create many of their business ethical standards and core values based on what has been passed down through their family. The idea of following a family's ethical standards and core values in the business world is something that we have studied and discussed in depth throughout this business course throughout the semester. In regards to the argument that women often possess specific skills and excel in certain areas when compared to men, supporters of the idea that women do not have an advantage in the workplace present several rebuttal statements. One rebuttal statement that is often presented is that men almost always have the same capacity to learn any skill that women are capable of learning. For example, both men and women have the ability to develop into effective multitaskers within school and other areas of life. Specifically, both men and women are presented with various tasks, events, and assignments while they are in school. Also, both men and women are required to effectively manage their time in order to be successful in school and other crucial areas of life. It is also often argued that both men and women can potentially have the right skills to excel in any job. For example, both men and women have the same capability of being caring, empathetic, and understanding in order to fulfill job positions such as being a counselor. In fact, both men and women are often seen as working as counselors throughout the world. These are just a few of the many rebuttal statements that are often presented in regards to the main argument presented throughout this essay that support the idea that women have an advantage in the workplace. In general, women in the workplace is a topic that is often discussed and debated throughout our society today, and often these conversations revolve around the question of, do women have an advantage in the business world? In general, there are many supporters for both sides of this argument, and each side presents several valid arguments. Throughout this essay, I have argued that being a woman does not give you an advantage in business. The main supporting argument that I have made throughout this essay relates back to the idea of women being promoted to and fulfilling certain positions in the business world and the salaries that they are paid for fulfilling these positions compared to the salaries that men are paid for fulfilling these positions. I personally believe this is a very interesting and ever-evolving debate and two-sided argument. I think it will be interesting to see if women develop an advantage within the business world over the course of the next several years. I believe that women gaining advantage in the workplace could potentially change how our country conducts business processes on a daily basis.